What is the #1 complaint about Apple? It's too expensive. Well, in front of me, I have an entire Apple setup that costs a fraction of the price of the cheapest MacBook you can buy. We're talking iPhone, AirPods, Apple Watch, iPad, even a MacBook, and all of these items are still fully supported. That was my #1 criteria. I can get used stuff for sure, but everything still has to be fully supported on iOS, macOS, watchOS, you name it. Starting out with, we have the iPhone. Now, I had to be a little bit creative with some of my choices. These are not always necessarily the best bang for the buck, but importantly, they are the cheapest. And this is an iPhone 11, the oldest iPhone that is still supported on iOS 26. Why does this box say smart device? I will mention that most of these items were purchased used from eBay. I hope that that's just, a generic box that they're using and not... Okay, I'm not concerned or anything.
Who are these people?
Yes, an iPhone. Yes, okay, that's a real iPhone. Okay, we good. Well, it has a screen protector on it, I'll say that, or a really badly, wait. No, this is bad. The screen's popped out on this corner. I can put my fingernail underneath the screen.
I like how it was supposed to be in good condition with very light signs of wear.
Well, okay, if I just pretend that the screen is installed and not kind of half falling out, it is in pretty good shape. Let's go ahead and fire it up and see. It does. Okay, cool. Okay, so the phone's already set up. I hate to see that because when the phone's already set up, it means that you don't get to go through the initial iOS setup screen. That's bad. Alex, help me out here real quick. The listing doesn't say anything about battery percentage, right?
If you dig into it, it's not very obvious, but they do say it is guaranteed to be above 75.
That is not okay. Battery health is 92. Okay, that's actually pretty solid. And it was a bargain. It was a downright bargain. This was like $150 bucks.
$155 actually.
$155, okay, so assuming that the screen is an easy fix and not a hard one, it's a good start. My voice cracking there a little bit. It's a good start. It's a good start.
You seem very confident.
I'm not at all. I'm actually very concerned right now. This is not a good start. Thank you to the sponsor of this video, Factor. Now, real talk, I have been pretty bad about taking care of myself lately. It's not that I don't want to eat better, it's just that cooking takes time I just simply don't have. Factor makes it easy. These are fresh, never frozen meals delivered to your door and ready in 2 minutes. No prep, no cleanup. And these aren't sad diet meals. Many Factor meals pack over 30 grams of protein with over 100 delicious rotating weekly options. We've been sponsored by HelloFresh in the past, but Factor is part of the same family now, giving you even more options to choose from. So head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code AUSTIN10FB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for a year. That's code AUSTIN10FB50 at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 year. And thank you very much to Factor for sponsoring this video. Now, an iPhone is no good without a pair of AirPods to go with it, am I right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's going to be in great, perfectly reasonable shape. Look at that. A real box. If I was really trying to min-max my budget, I would not be spending $80 on AirPods. I would buy another pair of headphones for a lot less. However, this is the ultimate Apple setup. It's all Apple. There's no third-party anything here, so I did buy actual real AirPods. Now, these were in good condition, right? I don't think...
No, it's excellent.
Excellent condition. The case is small. I mean, see, maybe like a couple little scuffs, but nothing too excessive. Clean. Cool. All right, AirPods. Yes, please pair my AirPods. This one seems straightforward, right? I mean, I don't think that these are necessarily going to be worth what I paid for them, but if you want the authentic Apple AirPods experience, that seems like what we got. Continuing down the train, I have myself an Apple Watch. I think that maybe going with the Apple Watch is not the worst value, because here's the thing. Apple Watches are basically all the same. There's newer ones that have like better battery life and blah, 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 but this is a Series 6, which is 5 generations old. When this was new, I think it was like a $400 watch, and I got it for a lot less than that. I purchased this, I won the auction for this one, so this is not one of the buy it nows, and the person only had a couple of photos and they did not look great, but, okay, whatever, it's fine. And so we have the watch itself wrapped up in a paper towel.
Ugh.
What the is that?
What?
What is that horrible burnt orange look? Oh no, I may have made a mistake. A great time to remind you, I got a really good deal. And it also came with the little Milanese loop. How much do they charge for the Milanese loop? Help me out. Make me feel better. It's expensive, right?
Like $100.
So the watch band itself, $100, which is great, because I paid like $50 for this whole setup.
$53 plus $5 for shipping.
So $58 after shipping. I didn't say this is gonna be the most high quality Apple setup, did I? No, it's just the cheapest. And sometimes cheap things are bad. Next up, we have what should be our iPad. We got this from Paymore. Wi-Fi only 8th gen 32 gigabyte iPad. Wait, does the name of that eBay seller Paymore?
Yeah.
Wait,
why would you
why
want
would
to
I
pay more?
Let's see here. So this is just the iPad itself, so no accessories or anything like that. Again, very well padded. What was the condition of this guy? It was good, right?
It was good, yes.
Good condition. Okay. I mean, hardware-wise, looks solid. So with the iPhone only having 64 gigs of storage, I will tell you that is a very small amount. Like, you gotta be really careful with that. This iPad only has 32, which means that with nothing installed, it only has 15 gigs free. That's like Genshin Impact. Now, because this is an older iPad, this does not, as far as I know, support is it the Magic Keyboard? Whatever the keyboard with the trackpad is. But I've got the next best thing here. The Smart Keyboard. And then ta-da! You've got yourself a nice little keyboard for the iPad. And then when you're done with it, you just fold it back and you have yourself a little cover. It's fine. I will say it's not in great shape, but it is very helpful if you're gonna use your iPad for anything more than like just video watching and whatnot. Again, I did not pay a lot for the setup, right? So we're talking $90 for the iPad. And I didn't pay, was it like $15 on this keyboard? I actually got it for a lot less than I thought.
Just under 20.
Just under $20. Again, up to you. I'm trying to build a complete and a holistic experience for my setup. We're only missing one thing. The thing I'm most worried about. How do y'all feel about an affordable MacBook?
That's just not possible.
Oh, but it is. The problem is that with macOS 26, they have really been dropping support for Intel Macs. So, I had to go Apple Silicon. I did not actually have to do that. I could have gotten, there's one MacBook Pro that I think would have fit. It was basically the same price. So I just went with the good old classic of an M1 MacBook Air. I bought it on eBay. It was in grade C condition. It said dents and other bits and bobs. It also
I see it now. It says stains on body.
It also says it has 120 gigs of storage, which is not a configuration that ever shipped. So I'm really unsure what I've got. Let's do it. Okay, well padded. It's actually very well padded. I mean, okay, scratches, dent, sticker residue, some scuffs, but that's the bottom of the laptop. Oh, well, the top is fine. See, I wasn't worried at all. That's totally fine.
I did look it up. So Apple did ship a 128 gig version of this, but only for schools and businesses.
Oh, so maybe I have even less storage. Oh.
Yeah.
Now hold on. This is okay. So, first question is, what are we working with here? So, 8 gigs of RAM, I already knew that. That's not a surprise. Holy shit, it actually is absolutely a 128 gigabyte SSD. That is legitimately something I did not know existed. I'm afraid that this might be not great on the battery. But you know what? There's only one way to find out. Ooh, okay. 595 cycles, 84%. That's not great. But considering that this is a, almost 6-year-old laptop, that's actually okay. Which leads me to, of course, the most important question. How much did I pay? Now, before you answer that, Alex, I just want to float out there that, Walmart still sells these things for like $600, $650. So, with that in mind, how much did I pay for this one?
You paid $260.
It's not bad. I mean, I didn't think 128 was a thing, so I thought I was getting a little more storage, but how bad could it be?
Stay tuned and find out.
So I have just finished getting everything set up, and I have a few initial thoughts. So we'll start with the iPhone 11. So I've got this loaded up with an eSIM. There are some minor issues I've noticed. So it's gonna be hard to kind of see in the light, but there's definitely those scuffs that are on the top right of the screen are pretty evident. I've actually found that even though the screen itself is kind of popped out of the frame, it's not bothering me that much. So I'm gonna live with it as is for just a little bit and see how that feels. I will say, I used to be a big proponent that the screen's not that bad. the screen's kind of bad. That being said, I did not pay a lot of money for this. Yes, it's a little bit slow, but I mean, I've got it set up, it's up and running. I will spend more time and see how it feels. I also have the phone paired with the Apple Watch Series 6. This is a problem. So when I fired it up, got it set up and everything, again, fully supported on watchOS 26. It's got liquid glass and everything, but the battery is very poor. Service recommended is what it says, and when you dive a little bit deeper, it only has 72% battery health. So I'm gonna spend obviously the next few days, trying to live with it and seeing if the battery can at least last me through one day. If it lasts one full day, that's fine, but 72% is not good. I've also got my AirPods set up. They are AirPods. I will listen to them more, but now that I have my entire setup running, I can take advantage of the Apple ecosystem. And that is actually one of the real reasons why I think a challenge like this remotely makes sense. And the good thing is, there's not a big downside to the fact that I'm using this cheap stuff. Now, are some things probably a little bit less than ideal when it comes to like performance and battery life and stuff? Absolutely. But as far as like the ecosystem, the experience, short of it being a little slower, a little less snappy, or like little minor issues, it actually is basically the same. But I'm curious to see where the real pain points are, and also which parts of the setup are absolutely still badass in 2026. Last night, when I was thinking about this challenge and thinking about how it has been honestly pretty seamless, but the question I had was how much money have I really saved? So, sat down and I built a depreciation chart. Now, for context, all of the devices that I have here were released between 2019 and 2021, the vast majority in 2020, which means that we're looking at 4 to 6-year-old devices. Now, I paid a total of about $650-ish for all of them together, and that's including the keyboard and whatnot. But I wanted to run the numbers on what this would have cost brand new. And my total, 5-ish years ago, $2,764, meaning that these devices have depreciated 76%. And that's pretty consistent across the board. The MacBook Air is 74% depreciated, the iPhone is 78%, the Apple Watch is 87%, the iPad 73%, the keyboard is 88%. The thing that depreciated the least are the AirPods. They only depreciate 57%. But what's stopping me from using these devices for a year, 2 years, turn around and sell them? Because if they've already depreciated 76%, I could use these devices for a couple years and probably still get most of my money back out of them, right? I think that's one of the advantages of the Apple ecosystem in these devices, because Apple does a pretty good job of supporting them for quite a long time. Again, I mean, some of these devices are 5, 6 years old. They're still getting updates as we speak. And even when they do start to lose support, it's not like they're suddenly worth nothing, right? I mean, this device, even when it no longer is supported by the latest version of macOS, whenever that is still a very competent piece of hardware. It just gets me thinking, like, you could really make an argument that I'm not spending $600 on these devices. You can make an argument that I'm spending,
Dad.
Yes, what's up?
You're too quiet, Daddy. Speak louder.
I will speak louder. Thanks, buddy. I'm gonna speak loudly because that's the direction I've been given from my producer.
That's more loud.
That's more loud. Okay, I appreciate it. The more I think about a video like this, the more I'm like, man, what are you doing buying brand new stuff? Like, I don't think I'm missing a lot by having spent a fraction of what these used to cost. So, after spending the better part of a week with this setup, I've got thoughts. And if I'm gonna be honest with you, not all of them are super positive. So I actually want to start out with the iPhone 11, which is definitely my biggest regret. This is fine. It works, the battery health is actually not too bad, and the main camera isn't bad as well, especially for video. The fact that it runs the latest version of iOS without major issues, I mean, there's not a lot to like actively complain about. I will say, I did try to gently sort of smash the screen back in, and if you push on it with your finger, there's a little bit of give. Unfortunately, even really trying to crank it down, I just think that the actual chassis is slightly bent. But look, I'm not gonna complain too much. The screen doesn't cause any problems. It's the top right corner, which is the corner that I touch the least. It's not something that actually causes problems. It's really just more of an issue where there's essentially no water resistance anymore. But, okay, look, I have been very spoiled. Because over the last 6, 7 years, almost every phone I've used, in fact, pretty much every phone I've used, did I just say 6 or 7 years? Over the last indeterminate amount of years, all of the phones that I've been using on a daily basis have pretty much been OLED, which means that going back to a 60 Hz LCD that has so much ghosting, it really makes you appreciate how far phones have come. Especially when you step outside and realize like, oh, I don't even think about using my phone outside in the sun, it's fine. But with the iPhone 11, you definitely notice the lack of brightness. And while this does lack 5G, which actually isn't a real deal breaker, it definitely makes me think about the longevity. And speaking of longevity, the iPhone 11 is most likely losing software support later this year when iOS 27 drops. So we're talking about a phone that might only have another 6 months of updates left. Not great. The thing though that really has got me thinking about the iPhone 11 and really making me regret it is that the iPhone 12 is only like $30 to $50 more on the used market right now. And I will say that for that money, you're getting a way better OLED screen. You're getting 5G, MagSafe, a nicer build, and probably another year or two of software support. Plus, you've got the option of going with the iPhone 12 mini, the best iPhone form factor of all time. I'll be honest, I should have spent the extra money. If you're thinking about getting an iPhone 11, spend a little bit more and you will get a way better phone. Then there's the 8th gen iPad. It's been fine. Now, I know that sounds kind of boring, but it's accurate because for $90 plus $20 for the keyboard, totally worth it. I will say that it is a very serviceable tablet, for watching videos, for reading, for light browsing. I mean, is it a little bit slow? Yeah, a little. Is the screen smaller than the newer designs? Yes. Am I very annoyed that I have so many lightning cables in my life, especially for my tablet? Absolutely. But for what most people actually do with an iPad, which let's be honest, even though you have the keyboard and you can pair a mouse, and I was actually using it with a mouse earlier, most people watching YouTube on this thing, most people are scrolling through, Instagram or whatever. It gets the job done. It's just not exciting. I will say that the Apple Watch Series 6 has actually been a lot better than I expected, especially when you consider that this is only $53. Now, yeah, the screen is scratched, and it does have that weird orange tint when the light hits it, but it's actually not been a big problem. And the fact that the battery only has 72% health, I mean, sure, I don't have a lot of margin for error. I'm absolutely charging it every night, but here's the thing. It actually hasn't died on me in a single day. I mean, it's gotten close, but it's still actually pretty impressive. For $53, I cannot complain. I mean, this is the Apple Watch experience at a very heavy discount, as long as you don't look too close. The AirPods 3 at $77 have also been solid. Now, look, I'm not gonna tell you that these are the world's greatest headphones, especially for this kind of money and considering that they're used. I mean, you can get active noise cancellation. There's a lot of other options, and these are very open. They're not really blocking out the world. But, it was with the AirPods that something kind of clicked for me. I, on a regular basis, use a pretty wide variety of devices, right? I use some Apple products, but I also use Windows computers and Android phones, all kinds of headphones and stuff, which means that while I get glimpses of the Apple ecosystem, or really any ecosystem, I'm never fully committed to anything, right? But this week, with everything being Apple, I kind of get it. I mean, the AirPods, they do just switch. I can be listening to Spotify on my MacBook, and then I pick up my phone, I leave, and then the audio just works. I don't have to dive through the menus, I don't have to go repair between devices, it just works. The watch can unlock my MacBook when I lift up the lid, although honestly Touch ID is fast enough that I mostly use that. You've got stuff like AirTags available, and I'll be honest, the universal clipboard is so clutch. Now I know that this has existed for years, but it's a great example of what happens when you really lean into multiple Apple products. Which brings me to the start of this whole video, the M1 MacBook Air. At $260, this laptop is genuinely absurd value. And yeah, I did take a risk buying one with only 128 gigs of storage and in pretty rough cosmetic shape. I mean, you saw what it looked like when I unboxed it. But after some cleaning, it's actually really in good shape. The screen is solid. The speakers are great. The keyboard is pretty good. The trackpad is fantastic. And the performance is legitimately impressive in 2026, over 5 years after this first came out. We just did a video taking a look at a number of brand new laptops under $500. And I'll be honest, while a couple of them were kind of decent, the MacBook Air is probably better than all of them combined. And it was $260, not $400 or $500. So buying all of these devices at the same time is admittedly a little bit silly. I mean, most people are not gonna go on eBay and grab an iPhone and a MacBook and an iPad and an Apple Watch and AirPods all in one go. But if you're curious about the Apple ecosystem, but you've been hesitant to spend $2,000 or $3,000 at a time just to try it out, I mean, for what I was able to get for about $650, I do have a complete setup that, iPhone aside, has been a genuinely good experience. We're talking about devices that have lost 75, 80, or even 90% of their original value. Someone else ate that cost, and you get to benefit from it. I mean, there's just so much value to be had on the used market. Just maybe spend the extra 40 bucks on the iPhone 12. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and ring-a-ling the ding-a-ling, and let me know in the comments below, what would you pick up for your ideal Apple setup?